So the other question I wanted to ask was, in trying to maintain your mental fitness, what's something that's surprised you since you've come back? I'll give you some time to think about this one.
Yeah, I think for me is just what a big difference being intentional can make. So that was one thing coming back. I had actually spent quite a bit of time thinking about and actually putting on paper was what's my strategy for maintaining like my mental fitness and resilience during this times, especially having a couple of jobs right now to balance with a 6 month old. I knew it was had the potential to stretch me very thin, but that just made it all the more important to figure out what I was going to do, when I'm not going to do, communicate that, but then also put together a pretty robust plan for just how to, like physically and mentally manage that. So making space to get cardiovascular exercise, walks with the dogs outside in nature, meditation, actually closing the laptop at the end of the day, and not feeling guilty about that because I want to drink in this, little baby who changes so quickly.
Yeah.
And I think just the importance of that intentionality makes it easier, but then coming back and revisiting that as creep comes in. And so we just went on vacation just for a long weekend last week, and it gave me a chance to kind of reset, rethink, reevaluate, am I still going to plan here? Am I starting to kind of fray at the edges? And it gave me an opportunity to kind of redefine that again and pull back and feel super
Yeah.
balanced again this week.
I love that answer because I'm definitely becoming a new dad. There's the best prioritization has been my son, Chickadee, because before you have so much time, you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when you're with him, you realize you have so little time. It's so easy to kind of think, all right, if the world is going to end, what's the most important thing I need to do? And just pick that thing. And it's been easier for me to say no to things, especially like in the evening where he's constantly changing. And I'm like, I want to be as present as possible with him at that time. So it's like, it just means that I have to show up with energy because he has so much energy. So I can't just roll off the last meeting and then go and pick him up from school. It just wouldn't work. So it has been a huge lesson in prioritizing.
Yeah. And it really focuses your time at work to make sure you get it all done. There is no it's really much harder now to let things bleed over past the end of the day. But Ashley, I'm curious what this looks like for you.
Yeah. So what was the most surprising for me during maternity leave was how uncomfortable it was for me to not have something to do. And like how conditioned I am to be doing things, like having a checklist, to having a to-do list. Like I'm so busy, right? And then that's kind of the culture that we have right now in the world is you're defined by your busyness. And so I was really looking forward to maternity leave for the very reason to not be busy. And then I found it uncomfortable to not be busy. So I had this like kind of neat aha for myself, like, oh yeah, you're addicted to this and you need to get off the crack of busyness and start thinking about, being more intentional. So I love what you said about intentionality. So I sat with that discomfort for a while and just forced myself to just, what's the one or two things I can do? Because they're so precious and little and they change so quickly. And like that time is fleeting and you never get it back. What I have done since I've gotten back though is knowing that I will, that I have this, that it's easy to fall back into those old habits. So, but I also don't want to get into the place of like, I'm so busy that it's taking away from the time that I have with my child. So Chen is on like the evenings are so precious for me now. I'm a lot better around like I'm done at 5 or I'm done at 4:30 because I have to go pick her up from daycare. And then those couple of hours until she goes to sleep are hers or ours. We just spend time together and just letting go. I'm just giving myself a lot of permission to just do what feels right in the moment and not put so much pressure on myself around like, well, did I finish everything on my to-do list? And, all these tasks that are hanging out there, they'll be there tomorrow. I'm just not worrying about it as much.